Missionary shall lead in the discussion of this theme, the consequences of holding back on God. The consequences of holding back on God. If you don't mind, please repeat that theme after me. The consequences of holding back on God.
On God.
God bless you. God bless you. Over the last several weeks, the Lord has given me a sermon series that I've shared with you, entitled Blessings of Giving. And in that sermon series, several general themes we have sought to lift up. Those general themes include the attitude for giving, the act of giving, the application of giving, and then the altitude associated with giving unto God. Now, the sermon series is the blessings of giving. And the general themes are the attitude for giving, the act of giving, the application of giving, and then the altitude associated with giving unto God. In the first sermon, we talked about the attitude for giving as we looked to the example of the widow who threw in 2 mites into the treasury. When we looked at that sermon, we said the attitude for giving ought to be by honest preparation and by heartfelt presentation, and it will result in honorific publication by the Prince of Peace. And last week we talked about the act of sacrificial giving unto God, as we looked at the example of a widowed mother of Zarephath, who first brought a little cake unto the prophet Elijah, even though she was in a famine and she was preparing a last meal for she and her son to eat and die. In that lesson from the Holy Writ, we learned that the act of giving ought to be on purpose for a purpose. And it ought to be a priority of priorities. And when it is on purpose for a purpose, and a priority of priorities, it will put you in a position to pull out more than what you put in. Now today, with your prayers and the Lord's help, we want to look at the application of giving. And we look to this lesson in the book of Acts, which shows us that there are some consequences for holding back on God. You gonna pray with me? Come on and pray with me for just a little while. Well, this lesson that the Lord has placed upon my heart from the book of Acts finds some disciples of Christ who held back an offering that should have gone unto God. Yeah, in essence, we find some disciples who abdicated their responsibility to support God and His church.